Hello everyone. Today we will start our chapter number 1 from your supplementary reader, The Summer of Beautiful White Horse by William Saroyan. The story revolves around two poor Armenian boys, Murad and Aram. They are the members of the Garolian family. The hallmark of this tribe are trust and honesty. The story begins in a mood of nostalgia. Aram, the narrator, was then a boy of 9, and his cousin Murad, a more adventurous but slightly crazy fellow, was 13. The narrator remembers vividly the day when Murad came to his cousin at 4 in the morning and woke him up by tapping on the window of his room. Aram just jumped out of bed, and when he looked out of the window, he couldn't believe what he saw. His cousin Murad was sitting on a beautiful white horse. The narrator knew that his cousin Murad couldn't have bought the horse, and if he couldn't have bought it, he must have stolen it. The narrator Aram asked Murad where he had stolen that horse. Murad didn't reply but asked him to leap out of the window if he wanted to ride. The narrator leaped into his clothes. He jumped down to the yard from the window and leaped up onto the horse behind his cousin Murad. From their house in Walnut Avenue, they reached Olive Avenue in less than 3 minutes. The horse began to trot as the air was fresh and lovely to breathe. Murad was considered one of the craziest members of their family. He began to sing, or rather roar. They reached the open country and let the horse run as long as it felt like running. The sun was coming up. Now the narrator leaped to the back of the horse, but the horse did not move. At the suggestion of Murad, he kicked into the muscle of the horse. It reared, snorted, and began to run. The narrator didn't know what to do. Instead of running across the field to the irrigation ditch, the horse ran down the road to the vineyard of Daikran Halabian and leaped over 7 vines before Aram fell. He was more worried about the horse than Aram. Both of them searched the horse in different directions. It took Murad half an hour to find the horse and bring him back. Murad hid the horse in a deserted vineyard belonging to a farmer, Ch.1. That afternoon, his uncle Khosrow came to their house for coffee and cigarette. While he was snipping coffee and smoking in the parlor, another visitor arrived. The latter was a farmer named John Byro. He was an Assyrian who, out of loneliness, had learned to speak Armenian. He was also served coffee and tobacco. Slightly sad, he said that his white horse, which had been stolen last month, was still gone. As soon as the farmer went away, Aram ran over to his cousin Murad. Murad's house and told him everything. He asked Murad not to return it till he learned to ride. He suggested keeping it for a year or at least 6 months. Murad thought he was inviting a Gargolian boy to steal. He decided to return the horse to its true owner. One morning, on the way to Fetwagian's deserted vineyard, they came across farmer John Barrow, who was On his way to town, Murad greeted him. The farmer studied the horse eagerly and wished them good morning. He asked the name of their horse. Murad replied that they called it My Heart. John Byro called it a lovely name for a lovely horse. He was certain that it was the horse which had been stolen from him many weeks ago. He asked if he might look into the horse's mouth. On examining the teeth of the horse, the farmer was ready to swear that it was his own horse. But since the fame of their family for honesty was well known, he could not call it the stolen horse. Still, it was the twin of his horse. Early the next morning, the boys took the horse to John Byro's vineyard and put it in the barn. Murad put his arm around the horse, pressed his nose into the horse's nose, patted it, and then they went away. That afternoon, John Barrow came to their house in his surrey and showed the narrator's mother the horse that had been stolen and returned. He was surprised to find the horse stronger than ever and better tempered too. He thanked God. Uncle Koshro, who was in the parlor, became irritated and shouted at him to be quiet. He observed that his horse had been returned and repeated his pet phrase, pay no attention to it. So, this is what the story is. I hope the story is clear to you. Thank you.